What is going on, everybody? It is Dylan with DFS, bringing you a brand new video. Today's video is my first look on Week 15. Week 15, main slate. Apologize about not having a video going over the cash plays on Week 14 slate. I will definitely get a video this week to it. So let's break down the prices that we see. So 2 quarterbacks above 8K this week. Mahomes against Houston, I think is the rougher of the matchups, and Houston's just overall bad in general. Very hurt, but you saw what they potentially did to Dallas, and although Dallas did put up points, it was a tough one. I still think Kansas City easily wins this game, but rougher matchup. And then Jalen Hurts against a very hurt, banged up Chicago team, where Jalen Hurts is a overall touchdown guy, whether it be through the air or run. Jalen Hurts 8,200. I really like that price in the matchup. Fields is just too expensive in this matchup for me to play him. Just way more value if you're paying down at quarterback. Justin Herbert, for instance, 7,200 against Tennessee. Tennessee, one of the worst secondaries in the league. Joe Burrow against Tampa Bay. Saw what a team like the 49ers were able to do, and Brock Purdy at that. No offense to him. It's just something you wouldn't expect out of a rookie's first start. Dak Prescott, 6,200 against Jacksonville. I actually like that matchup overall. 6,200 is a really good price for Dak in a game like that. Trevor Lawrence on the other side, 6,000. Like his price as well. We keep going down. Jared Goff against the Jets is a pretty rough matchup. Derek Carr against New England, I still think is a rough matchup as well. Tom Brady against Cincinnati, until they could figure out what type of team they are, I'm staying away from majority of Tampa Bay players. And then we have some injuries for quarterbacks to watch out for. So Kyler Murray done for the year at 6,900. So you get a discounted Colt McCoy 5,000. Mike White questionable. Went down. Everyone thought he was going to be out. Came back. Finished the game. Questionable for this coming up matchup against Detroit, 5,400. If not, Joe Flacco probably going to be the starter at 5,100. I like that price point. Probably one of the better matchups, even with Joe Flacco. I mean, you go and look at his first 2 weeks against Baltimore and Cleveland, he's still able to put up 18 and 30, especially at his price point, 5,100 again against Detroit's secondary, which we've seen. Unfortunately, their secondary is not all that great. Russell Wilson, questionable against Arizona. Arizona also with a bad secondary. You go down here, and you get Brett Rippon here at 5K. So a lot of cheap quarterbacks. So tournament play is going to be interesting to say the least. Ryan Tannehill, 5,300. Not really interested at that. The pass game for Tennessee. Andy Dalton, Jameis Winston. Dalton was stated to be the quarterback for the remainder of the season. Their starting quarterback. 5,200 against Atlanta. Kind of like that matchup there. Really like his price point. Here is where it gets really interesting. Desmond Ridder, 5,200 against New Orleans. New Orleans, pretty good defense. Overall, I'd say pretty good defense. But you get a rookie mobile quarterback at 5,200 here. Still has Drake London as a weapon. We know they run the ball. They have Cordell Patterson, which they utilize quite a bit. But at 5,200, Desmond Ridder definitely becomes a play. Where he goes in cash, not sure yet, but I'm interested to see where that ownership ends up being on Sunday. Sam Darnold, 5,100 against Pittsburgh. You can go look at some of his numbers against Denver and Seattle. Two, I'd say, fairly good secondaries. Denver being a very good secondary. Seattle, their secondary, very young for the most part secondary, and he has some okay games, especially at that price point. Kenny Pickett, questionable. If not, If Trubisky didn't have the 3 interceptions, I don't think he has that bad of a fantasy point game. By all means, not great, but 22 of 30 for almost 300 yards. Takes those interceptions away. It's a complete different story. You get the 3 Houston quarterbacks who we don't know who will start. We don't know who will finish the game, all at 5K. Mentioned McCoy, Rippon, Mac Jones at 5K against Vegas. Hopefully they get Jacoby Myers back, and then he definitely becomes a playable person. Other than that, I don't think anyone else kind of fits in there. No one else starting. Running backs, we have 3 above 8K. Eckler against Tennessee at 85 is a rough matchup. Josh Jacobs banged up 8,100 against New England, probably staying away from that 100%. Derrick Henry against Chargers. Chargers really bad just against the run, not just running backs, just against the run at 8K. Joe Mixon, a rough matchup against Tampa Bay, although their run defense has not been what they once were. Tony Pollard, 7,100 against Jacksonville. Saw what Derrick Henry was able to do in the first half of that game. Ramondre Stevenson is definitely an injury to watch. Kept going in and out. Ended up being officially out towards the end of the game. Or towards halftime, I don't think he returned to the field. So just watching to see of who's going to be the starter for New England. James Conner, 6,900, got banged up last night as well. Kind of a rough matchup here against Denver, but utilized quite a bit when Kyler is not there. Alvin Kamara, 6,800 against Atlanta. I really like that matchup and the price point there. Miles Sanders, 6,500 against Chicago. Like the price and matchup. David Montgomery, 6,300, same thing. I like the price and I like the matchup. If he was a little cheaper, like 61, I'd probably love Montgomery this week, but 63, it's only $200, don't get me wrong. But with someone like Miles Sanders, only $200 above him, creates some of that difference. Ezekiel Elliott, 6,200. I don't care what you say, watching Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott this year, like, look at their numbers. Like, Tony Pollard has that higher ceiling, but Zeke, for a good, pay down off of him, like Tony Pollard is probably going to outscore Zeke 9 times out of 10 this season, but Zeke just gets the touchdowns. He is like the Jamal Williams to DeAndre Swift almost. 9 touchdowns for Zeke right now. You look at his touchdowns, he's scored in his last 6 games he's played, got banged up, but since returning, still continuing the score streak. Zeke at 6,200. Travis Etienne, bad matchup against Dallas. First pass game, maybe. But run game, it's probably going to be rougher. Isaiah Pacheco, 5,900. If we can get McKinnon, 5,200. 35.4 points. He was a receiver, 7 receptions, 112 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That was crazy. Back to the running backs, though. Isaiah Pacheco, 5,900. Good price, good matchup for me. Cordell Patterson, 5,900. I like the matchup. I would say I like the price, too. Anything under 6K really becomes, you start to hit value for running backs. Dameon Pierce, 5,800. Hopefully he's healthy. Like the matchup and price. Damian Harris, we're just going to wait for the Stevenson news before we talk any New England running back. Even Damian Harris, still watching the injury news on him and Stevenson. Najee Harris, 5,700 against Carolina. I kind of like the price, the matchup. I would say it's a good matchup, but for Najee this year, I don't think so. DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams are no's. P. Ryan is still a no with Mixon being back. Fournette, I'd say is a no. Foreman, 5,400, I guess is playable, even though Chuba Hubbard is starting to get, more volume. Last 2 weeks, 31 carries in the last 2 weeks. Zonovan Knight, I just don't know how to feel about him. He's 5,300. It's a good matchup. If they use him and him only, then yes. I don't know the statuses of the other running backs for the Jets right now, but he's taking over that RB1 spot. Latavius Murray, 5,100 against Arizona. It's a good matchup, good price. I just don't know how I feel about Latavius Murray, that Denver team. Maybe it's different with Rippon in there. But 5,100, I'd say is a good value play. We continue to go down. I don't think there's anyone that really stands out as a play. More just injury news, I guess. Zamir White, maybe. Abdullah, watching for the Jacobs news. I'd like to say they go Zamir, but Abdullah is their third down back. Interested to see where that goes. And then really quick, I mentioned it a couple times. We're still going to watch the injury news on New England's running backs. If Stevenson and Harris are out, Strong and Kevin Harris then become playable plays here at 4K, so you get some value there. Let's get to the wide receiver. 9,000 Devontae Adams against New England is a no for me. He's just too expensive and a very rough matchup against New England. Jamar Chase, 8,300 against Tampa Bay. Watching the injury status for Tampa's secondary, they've been pretty banged up recently. If they continue to have some of those injuries, then yes, at 8,300, I definitely play him. A.J. Brown against the Bears at 8,000, yes, I like that play. Amon-Ra is a no for me against the Jets. High volume, don't get me wrong, I love Amon-Ra. It's just the Jets secondary has been pretty good this year. Love Sauce Gardner. DeAndre Hopkins, 77 against Denver. I just can't buy it. Denver's secondary. The Jets and the Broncos are in the same state for me right now. Their defenses are so good if their offenses that have weapons could produce. Those would both be really good contending teams. Unfortunately, it's not that way. CeeDee Lamb starting to go down in price a little bit, I guess. 7,300 against Jacksonville. Like that price, definitely like that matchup. Jacksonville's secondary isn't bad at all, but CeeDee Lamb in that matchup, if Jacksonville can actually put up points again like they did against Tennessee, like CeeDee Lamb. T. Higgins, watching the injury status, if he's out, Tyler Boyd becomes definitely playable for me. Keenan Allen, 6,800 against Tennessee. I really like that price and matchup for a wide receiver like Keenan Allen. Chris Godwin, 6,700 against Cincinnati, yes. Christian Kirk, no, against Dallas. Chris Olave, yes, 6,500 against Atlanta. Devontae Smith against Chicago, yes, 6,400. Mike Williams, 63, yes. Mike Evans against Cincinnati, I'd lean yes, especially for his price. Matchup is rougher, but I like that 6,200 price for him. Jerry Jeudy, 6,100. Jerry Jeudy finally has a good game. 3 touchdowns, 8 for 73, 33.3 fantasy points. Jerry Jeudy, it is a good matchup. I do like his price. It is on the higher side for Jerry Jeudy. But hopefully with Rippon in instead of Wilson, they, I don't know, get more desperate to throw the ball efficiently, I guess. I don't know. The Denver's offense is totally weird. Whack. It just doesn't make any sense. Garrett Wilson against Detroit, 6,000. Yes. I don't care if it's Flacco, Wilson, or Mike White. Garrett Wilson, 6K is a yes for me. Juju against Houston. I'd lean no right now. I said it when I was talking about Mahomes, Pacheco, they're great plays. I just don't think it's worth trying to hit on a Kansas City player that's not Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, or even Pacheco for that matter. Trying to get one of these wide receivers is just tough for me. Palmer against Tennessee at 5,600, yes as well. Marquise Brown, no. DJ Moore, watching the injury status, I'd say yes at 5,300. Cortland Sutton, if he does end up playing, it's kind of the same thing as Jerry Jeudy. I yes. If Russ is out, yes. That's weird to say. I never thought I'd say that this year, but yes. Deontay Johnson, George Pickens. Leaning towards, if Trubisky's in, I'm leaning towards Deontay Johnson. If Pickett's in, I'm leaning towards George Pickens. Brandon Cooks against KC. If he's healthy and playing 4,900, it is a rougher matchup, but I do like it at 4,900. Start going down. Tyler Boyd, like, Burrow's starting to lose some of his weapons. Hurst, Higgins, Boyd, all questionable. Watching the injury status of both Boyd and Higgins. If Higgins is out, Boyd is healthy. 4,800 becomes a tournament play. Rondale Moore, no, of course. Jacoby Myers, the fact that he is priced at 4,700, I guess maybe it's because, like, he hasn't really done anything, but he hasn't been healthy. If he is healthy and playing, Jacoby Myers is definitely a play I like. McDaniels against Belichick should be a good game. Drake London, 4,700 against New Orleans. Yes, I like that. I think he's a very sneaky play right now. Treylon Burks against the Chargers. If he's healthy for his price point, yes, he's a good value play under 5K. Michael Gallup, 4,500 against Jacksonville. Yes. Start to go down. Finally saw JMO play. So excited about that. Yeah, we go down. As of right now, there's not a whole lot. It stands out. Irwin, maybe if both Boyd and Higgins are out. But that's just a lot of value. We'll get to that later in the week once we start figuring out if players are going to play or not. Travis Kelce, 7,800. Travis Kelce is tight end one. He is tight. Even when he's not tight end one, he's tight end one. He hasn't put up big numbers lately, 15.7, but he's still getting that volume. A good matchup for him here against Houston. I like Travis Kelce. He is 3,300 more than Pat Freiermuth. Interesting. It's either you're paying up for Kelce or you're paying down. You are paying down quite a bit. So that'll be interesting to see where that goes in cash. Dalton Schultz against Jacksonville, I like that price, like the matchup. Everett against Tennessee, same thing, like the price, like the matchup. Cole Kmet is a no. Evan Ingram is a no. Dulich, 3,600 is a yes. Foster Moreau, I want to say yes so bad. I continue to want to say yes. I miss how they used him last year. Like, they used him just like they did Waller last year. High volume tight end. They're not giving him volume at all. Like 7, 9. That's it. It's mostly some. They just. I don't know. I don't know. Foster Moreau should be a great play almost any week. Very good tight end. Like his style. And I like Derek Carr. He's a very accurate quarterback for the most part. They don't click. I don't get it. Juwan Johnson, if he plays 34 against Atlanta, yes. Hunter Henry against Vegas, I'm not buying it. It is a good matchup. His price is good too. Hayden Hurst, if he ends up playing 3,200, yes. Like the price of matchup. Conklin, same thing. Like the price of matchup. Okinowa, 3,100. Just, he's starting to grow. 5 or more targets in the last 3 games. Finally gets a touchdown. And that's when he's at the minimum. He's a little over the minimum now at 31. Keep going down. I would like Kate Otten, but Cameron Brate is healthy. McBride, I like McBride, but Denver is just a rough matchup. Troutman, if Juwan Johnson is out at 2,800, I really like that. Other than that, I'm not really seeing too much that stands out yet. So that's it for tight ends. Defenses, same thing. Houston against KC, no. Tennessee against Chargers, no. Bears against Philly, no. Jacksonville against Dallas, no. Atlanta against New Orleans, maybe. That's where the maybe comes in. Broncos against Arizona. This seems like the cash play. This is the cheapest defense. where we've seen them have some good games this year. Arizona possibly down, they're going to be down Kyler, possibly down James Conner as well, going against Colt McCoy. So 2,700 Denver defense seems like the play right now. So hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. That means a lot to me. If you guys are interested in joining, the link for that will be down in the description below. I will see you guys in the next one.